What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Heavy on Hoops, where we cover everything WNBA basketball. And man, we got an interesting one here today because we are talking about the WNBA, but not so much about the basketball part. First, go ahead, like and subscribe, and let's go ahead and get into it. So you guys know about the whole Sophie Cunningham trans comments, where she essentially just came out and said that I'm trying to protect women's sports.
My biggest thing is love and respect. I think there's room for absolutely everybody. We don't always have to agree, but that respect and love definitely has to be there.
And man, that just opened up a firestorm of content towards the WNBA, where it became something so much more than basketball. It became a whole social identity crisis for the league to have to manage. And to date, have they done a good job managing it? Not well at all. What happened after that? You had Cheryl Reeve come out and basically wear a "We Support Trans Women" shirt. And then you had Stephanie White that just kind of took a very politically correct stance, just kind of stating that she's not a scientist. She cannot really answer that question as far as do trans athletes belong in the WNBA. And then you had Caitlin Clark, who kind of took the moderate approach and said, hey, I get paid to play basketball. That is not a decision that I get to make. I'm focused on the basketball. And that was Sophie Cunningham's point too. She just wanted to get back to the basketball. But we have gotten back to anything but basketball. What followed up after that? DiJonai Carrington with that flagrant 2 foul, which I'm pretty sure most of you guys have seen. And on any other night, it would have probably just been a flagrant foul and it would have been over with. She got her ejection from the game. It's done. But instead, we got a whole post, white privilege, from DiJonai Carrington right after the game at Indiana Fever. And when I say social media went off, it went crazy and started an entire new fire to where now there's fires on the left and right about the trans statement and now about the white privilege statement. And the WNBA just has an absolute monster on its hand to handle, to the point where people were almost mocking the league, making statements like Caitlin Clark should just quit the WNBA. She's too popular, too big for it anyway, with mess like this going on. And then you also have former NBA players. Enes Kanter Freedom played 10-11 years in the NBA, mostly known for his time with the OKC Thunder. And he's declared for the WNBA draft. 6'10 center, mind you. From the NBA has declared for the WNBA draft. You have Royce White, former NBA player, did not fulfill his potential, but now has declared for the draft to the point where he has even worn a wig. Now, they did this so facetiously, trying to prove a point that the documentation, what the WNBA is asking for as far as what requirement is needed for players to join the WNBA, it's not so clear, because the site says that it's a league for women. But now the question is being posed and asked, like, is this biological women? Can it be someone who just identifies as a woman? Like, what are the qualifications? That is the big question being asked. And unfortunately, the WNBA is really dragging its feet on a response. And this is a huge problem that the WNBA has, and it's not to really try to call out Cathy Engelbert, but this is a time where the merit of your leadership is really being challenged right now, because you have been under fire for a long time, and the majority of these WNBA players, at least what they have shown through social media, do not particularly like her. If you looked at the CBA agreements, you saw that she was getting disrespected left and right at every turn. Though she has helped foster a league that has grown immensely during her time there, she gets disrespected left and right. And yet this is a time where you have all these fires going on and you have this awesome league where you're getting more attention than ever, and you're absolutely letting this spin out of control to where you actually have people now calling for her head, that she should be fired as commissioner. I'm not going to go that far and say that, but if there was ever a time for her to step up and actually show what she's made of in her position, this is it. Because we have a crisis here to where your basketball league is being talked about for anything other than basketball. That night where the DiJonai Carrington foul happened, Indiana-Chicago game, Caitlin Clark had a 27-11 game, double-double game, monster game. Kelsey Mitchell has scored more 20-point games in a row than anybody else in WNBA history. She has a streak going right now, but nobody's talking about it or even celebrating those things because of this mess that's going on that the WNBA has refused to address. Now, and I think the proof in the pudding, the biggest slap in the face to me was the Enes Kanter.
I am simply asking that the current rules be applied equally to everyone. The rules that represent the very values many WNBA players and coaches have publicly advocated for.
And the Royce White.
Earlier this week, I made the announcement. I'm transgender. I'm a woman. I identify as sometimes identifying as a woman for purposes of basketball, professional basketball. So I'll be declaring for the WNBA draft in 2027 as well.
Because you don't really get this argument going the other way where you have, trans men trying to get into the NBA at the public level. And that's not to say that there's no trans men that don't play in men's leagues anywhere else, because that's not the case. But this does seem to happen a bit more going one direction than it does the other, which is interesting, but we're not going to go into that. But this story getting to the point where it's gotten physical to where you have DiJonai Carrington lashing out and whacking Sophie Cunningham and then not explaining the white privilege comment, just assuming that everybody understands what she's talking about, and went on to kind of rant about her education and her going to this prestigious school and having a good education, and the rhetoric is it means what it means, but you didn't elaborate on anything. So you leave people to assume what they want to assume. And the only thing they have to connect it to is comments that Sophie Cunningham made about the trans community. Now, people have gone on to try to connect this to the fact that Sophie Cunningham saying what she said insulted not just the trans community, but the entire LGBT community, which DiJonai Carrington is a part of. Don't know if that could be the case why she ended up whacking her, but again, she didn't elaborate. So there's a lot of things that are left out in question that we cannot answer. So it would be nice if Cathy Engelbert, commissioner, got involved, showed her face, and actually did not wait several days upon days upon days to address the issue. I'm not going to say that it's not a difficult situation to navigate, but your league is representing many women across the globe in the sport of basketball as the best basketball league for women. And your league right now is showing anything but the level of professionalism and excellence that you would want represented from your players. She does not have a hold on this league, and it's almost to an embarrassing point to where I honestly, as much as a fan as I am of the WNBA, I can understand why people would be somewhat disgusted with the product. We watch basketball to get away from some of the nonsense and some of the social issues that exist. It should be a place that we can all come together to simply enjoy the game. But it has been anything but that. If anything, the social fabric of the culture, the country, is being exposed through this. The Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark fans versus the people who don't like them. Two very different sides of the fence. You got governors coming out and saying that, well, if Sophie got fouled like that down here in Florida, then that person may be in jail. We don't need people fanning the flames like that. It would be nice. It would be nice if a Sophie Cunningham came out and she completely obliterated those comments. She doesn't have to. And that's what people don't get confused. She doesn't have to because she did not make them. I feel like she kind of has been the adult in the situation, saying, I said what I said, I stand by what I said, and I'm not taking it back. I'm representing for women in our sport. And she is entitled to do that. But again, this league has lost a handle on the story and let it morph into something else instead of getting out ahead of it. So tell me, what do you guys think? Does the WNBA need new direction? Because I ultimately think that is the big question. Not just that players are going to argue and say things where that may be inflammatory in the media. It's going to happen. Unfortunately, the culture, social media, we live on it, we breathe it here in this country. But if the league could redirect and have clear language on how to navigate these situations, the WNBA would be presented as a much more refined and respected product. We want to keep the politics out of it as much as we can because we enjoy basketball, and that's what we want to see. This league was built on basketball. I said it before in another video. We may have the most talented generation ever. Don't let the basketball be secondary to the noise. And that is the risk that the WNBA has right now. But anyway, guys, drop your comments in the video. And with that risk may come the loss of fans, loss of revenue, etc., etc. But anyway, guys, drop your comments down below. Let me know what you think. And that is all. Until the next video, peace.